everyone, and welcome to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to this evening. Welcome to our show. We are so glad to have you here and listening tonight. And I must tell you, if you're brand new to our program, wow, you picked the right night to stop by and check us out because our guest tonight is off the chain kind of good. You know, every year that I do the show, there's always a band or two in the course of playing indie music that really just stands out for me. And when I first get music from bands, sometimes I say to myself and scratch my head, why are these people not already signed? And our guest tonight is one such, a true vibe there, because when I first received their EP, I was blown away. I could not believe they were unsigned. It just made no sense to me that they weren't signed. And I was like, why am I getting their music? They should be on mainstream radio. That was the feeling that I had. And unbelievable, the sound in their music. It's powerful. It's rock. And I'm a huge 80s rock girl, but I love modern rock. I love all the bands, but the indie bands out there today are making some of the best rock music out there. And I want to give you a little background on our guest tonight. They hail from the deep heart of Texas, and they are a modern rock electro band that has shared the stage with platinum-selling artists such as 3 Days Grace, Evanescence, Seether, and many more. And after already playing together for many years, the members formed their own band and rounded out the band with one of the area's top guitarists. And they, after the release of their debut album, they took their music and sound to the next level by teaming up with the highly acclaimed producer Jeff Blue, who has worked with such artists as Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Hoobastank, Aaliyah, Macy Gray, etc., etc. And with their combination of driving lyrics, smooth vocals, and gut-wrenching rhythms, their new sound can be compared to Linkin Park, Breaking Benjamin, and 9 Inch Nails. And I have to tell you, they are off the chain good. And yes, they can be compared to those acts. And there's no doubt with their high-energy rock show, road readiness, and business-oriented professionalism, this band is one to watch. They're on the rise and a force to be reckoned with throughout the rock community. And no doubt about it, they are one of the best I've heard in a very, very long time. We are very, very proud to welcome The Taking to our show tonight. Hello.
What's going on, Don? How are you? This is Alan with The Taking. Good to be here.
Hi, Alan. It is so good to have you here. Thank you so much for being with us. I must
Absolutely.
tell you, I've been stoked about this interview since we booked it. I mean, you guys, as I was saying in the intro, I don't know if you were on the line as of yet, but I was saying that, I get a lot of music in, and every now and again when I get music such as yours, I start scratching my head going, why is this artist or why is this band not already signed to a major record label? Why are we not hearing it on rock mainstream radio? You guys have got what it takes. And no offense, but it's like your music should be played everywhere else, not on my indie show, but mainstream, everywhere, man. It is good stuff. And so kudos on all the early success you guys have had, but you guys are off the chain good.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. And, we've been tuning into your show, and we appreciate everything that you do. And really, the honor's all of ours. I mean, having someone like you support independent music, we really appreciate that. A lot of people, don't want to give the indie artists a chance, and, all they want to listen to is, whatever's on mainstream radio. But, there's always people like you and people like all the people that we love and look up to that, they're actually looking for new music, for something fresh, for something different. And we really appreciate you having us on the show. So thank you for everything.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. The pleasure is definitely all mine, as well as the honor. And I must tell you, to comment on what you just said there, people who are just looking for mainstream music on mainstream radio, they have no idea just how great the indie music world is. Having been doing this for a while now, I can tell you this is my favorite form of music. I barely ever listen to mainstream. I mean, I do to kind of stay up on what's relevant and stuff. But, man, my heart is in the indie music scene because there's so much music from so many different genres, that bands like your band, it is an example of just how good the talent and the musicianship is that is in this segment of indie music. And I'm telling you, record labels and mainstream radio are truly missing out on some really good stuff that's out there that they don't have a clue about.
Right.
And it's really a shame because I think some of the most talented musicians that exist now are solely putting out indie music and and are unsigned. And I've always said that this is the part of the music industry, the indie music world, that is the music industry's unintentional best kept secret.
Right.
Because it is like a best-kept secret that, is not intentionally being kept, but thank God for social media, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
that you have a way to get it out there,
Absolutely. And that's one thing that we're trying to do with our music and our, stage show and everything like that is, of course, we want to be those bands. We want to be the Korns and the Linkin Parks, and those are all of our idols. We've looked up to all those bands ever since we were young. And, honestly, that's the reason why we all got into music. I mean, our guitar players, one of our guitar players, Dominic, he's, major influence is Tool. Our other guitar player, David, and unfortunately they couldn't be on the call with us today, but they, send their best and everything like that. And I said, it's okay, guys, I'll hold down the fort and I'll make it happen. But no, like our other guitar player, David, his major influences are, Mark Tremonti of Creed and Alter Bridge. And so, we look up to the big bands, the bands that we've grown up with. And of course, that's why we're in the game. We want to share the stage with those bands. We want to be touring with those bands. We want to be on the radio, on mainstream radio, having our music video on Fuse, having it on on Palladia and everything like that. I wish I could say having it on MTV, but that doesn't happen anymore. So MTV, that's kind of a lost
I'm telling
lost
you
cause
what,
for music videos.
To that note, when MTV, came on the scene, man, that was the most unbelievable thing. I mean, I was in high school when MTV made their debut, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. I couldn't wait to get home from school and I'd watch MTV the rest of the night. You were just stuck to the TV, watching music come to life in the form of video. And then when they changed everything around, it really did a disservice to artists who had worked so hard to come up with creative concepts for their music visually. And,
right.
And started changing just changing the wheel and reinventing it. And it was like if they had just stayed true, thank God for YouTube, because YouTube has kind of taken the place of MTV for artists,
Absolutely.
especially indie artists, because if they didn't have that and they didn't have, some of these other video outlets to promote their music and through video, I mean, it virtually would be non-existent. And,
right.
So MTV is really, they've sold themselves short, especially now with the indie world being what it is, and there's so many great, phenomenal acts, such as The Taking. They've really lost out, I think, incredibly so, by trying to do so many different things that are off the beaten path of their original concept. And
Right.
it just infuriates me the way that has all panned out for them,
I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys, you have played with some of probably the biggest rock acts in the world, 3 Days Grace, Evanescence, Seether. And talk a little bit about that. I mean, I'm sure that has kind of built on what you guys do as a band, but how did some of those experiences come about for you? And what was it like playing with some of those acts as those happened for you?
Well, I mean, actually, we were stoked to be able to play with all those bands, and every time that we would, get the call or have the opportunity to play with a band like that, we took it as a huge learning experience. Not only that, but it gave us a taste of the big time. Being on stage with Evanescence and seeing Amy Lee perform, and even with Seether, and 3 Days Grace. Adam Gontier is one of our all-time idols, and it gave us a taste of what we were striving for, and if anything, it made us want it that much more, because it's just there's no better feeling than being on stage. There's no better feeling than being able to connect with an audience, and being able to play in front of their crowds, playing at the at the amphitheaters, and playing at the the bigger outdoor venues and stuff like that, even the bigger indoor venues. It just fueled our fire and fueled our passion even more to continue on and keep striving and to never give up. And being able to jump on those shows, we've always been trying to work as hard as we can in our city. We're from San Antonio, Texas, and we work hard here trying to spread the name about the Taking, trying to spread our music, get our message out there. And we've done that here in San Antonio and in Texas as a region. So we've been able to play with some of those bigger bands, even in cities like Houston and Dallas and Austin, even down in the Rio Grande Valley and stuff like that. So we've just been pushing and trying to branch out to as many people as we can. And those great opportunities were presented to us because of what we were doing and the music that we were putting out, and we were very fortunate to be able to do that. So we loved every minute of it. And actually, we have some other big shows coming up. We're going to be playing with Saliva in March, and then we're going to be playing with Tantric in mid-February. So, we're still at it. We're not going to give up, and hopefully one of these days we'll be on tour. Hopefully one of these days, real soon, actually, we'll be on tour with bands of that talent and bands of that caliber. So it's been fantastic.
My assessment of that, I already have dubbed you as the next up-and-coming big thing. You guys are going to be a household name, no doubt. But by virtue of opening and performing with some of these big-name bands, that says to me these big-name acts really see your potential as well. And I could very easily see you being on tour with any one of them, and being the opening act, and then at some point being the headliner,
Sure.
And that is, it's just a matter of time, really. You've got really your foot in the door by playing with some of these big names, and as and it's just like anything. The more you do it, the more it kind of continues to unfold for you, and that's just more to your credit, And
Absolutely.
I have no doubt that's going to be the case. I can't hardly wait till I turn on my radio one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, there they are.
Well, thank you so much.
That's really cool. Now, I know you get this question a lot, but I have to ask. I always like to ask my bands this because there's always a different story behind every name. But how did the name The Taking come about?
Well, the name The Taking came about. We were actually working. We were working in L.A. with Jeff Blue and our other co-producer. His name is Mike Gonsolin. We were up in L.A. working on our demos and everything like that. And at the time, we were operating under another name, and the producer was like, I really like you guys. I love your style. I love the sound, but there's something about your name that's a little bit off. And we started brainstorming, and we were just thinking about the direction that our music was taking, and our music on not on our latest EP, but even on our last record. It was more straight ahead. It was more straight ahead modern rock, and we figured we wanted to do something that was going to be different, something that was going to stand out, something that was going to be unique. We wanted to be able to put our own stamp on rock music, but still have it super driving and heavy and everything like that. so we said, it's like this game for us right now, and this opportunity right now, it's here, and we just kind of stumbled upon it. It's here kind of for the taking for us. And we were brainstorming with that, and we had some other options, and we kept going back to the taking, and it felt fitting. It felt like everything's out there for us to take, and it's up to us, and it's up to our determination and our drive and our music and our everything like that to go out, and we really feel like we have what it takes to take, not to put too many takes in there, but we feel like we have what it takes to take what we're striving for. So we felt like the taking was very very appropriate for what we're all about and what we're trying to achieve.
Well, it definitely fits the style of music that you play. I mean, it's got a hard driving edge to it. The whole name, the taking. I mean, that could mean any number of things, but it just fits the rock genre.
Awesome.
And it's just, for me personally, I mean, I think about it, and when you think about rock bands and a lot of names for rock bands, like Seether, for example, and Evanescence, and 3 Days Grace, and Hoobastank, and all those bands out there that have these really unique names, they're memorable. That's the thing about them. I mean, they're, and the taking is just in your face. It's kind of like you don't forget the name. It's just right there. And all of these, all the bands, I think, most bands in the rock genre have a name that really does stand out, but it has that edge to it, that just fits the rock style. And the taking definitely does that as well. And that's why I think it's such a good fit. And, and the fact that you have the name that you do, and you've given the backstory to it, which, by the way, thank you so much, to me just shows how serious you guys are as a band about taking it all and becoming the next 3 Days Grace or the next Seether or the next, household name in terms of rock music. It's all very plausible, and it's very, very likely that is going to happen. So it's better for people to get to know the name now.
Sure, yeah.
It will stick as it goes forward. I mean, it is the name that sticks, and it kind of, the other thing that resonates with me is it's kind of like your music. I know when I started listening to your EP, the music just kind of got in my head, man. It was like the bitter end. Earlier today, it was just running through my mind. I was thinking about what songs I'm going to play tonight. I was like, God, this music is like, that's when I knew you guys are truly a relevant rock band. You're not rocker wannabes. You have arrived, and it's a matter of time before people are going to know who you are. And the reason why I say that is because you've got the kind of music that does get in people's head, and it does stick, and people remember it. And so the name and the music it's just a perfect fit, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
So, yeah, you guys are on the right path, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Now let's talk about this awesome music, because I'm telling you, the EP is it just blew me away when I heard it. And I can't even tell you which song is my favorite because, man, I was like, what am I going to play tonight? I was trying to pick 2 songs, and it was just really hard. I wanted to play all 4, and I might end up playing all 4 before we wrap. But talk about the making of this EP, and some of the things about it that are a little bit different from, say, your debut release.
Okay. Well, we were fortunate enough to hook up with Jeff and Mike. We actually hooked up with Jeff first. We went out to play a showcase for him in Kansas City, and he was out in the crowd, and he heard what we were doing, and he said, and this was before, obviously before we worked with him, and he heard what we were doing, and he said, I really like what y'all are doing. I like the direction that y'all have, but, in this day and age, people are looking for something that stands out, something that you still stay true to your roots, stay true to your rock, origins, but just put a little something else in there. So we hooked up with him, and it was, I mean, literally like maybe 2.5 weeks after the showcase. We flew out to LA. He put us up in a fantastic studio, and the name of the studio is called Trend Def Studios, right in West Hollywood, and that's where that's Mike Gonsolin. He was our co-producer. That's his headquarters. Anyway, we started. It was a really natural. It was a really organic process, and we actually did all of the writing in the studio, and we were in a little bit of a time crunch because we had some other places that we had to travel, and Jeff was going to be leaving the country and everything like that. But we knew we wanted to capitalize on the time that we had, so we actually recorded the 4 songs in 8 days. So it was like, straight up, nose to the grindstone, and we were just rolling, and it was a fantastic experience. We wrote all the music, and actually we took we took all of the musical concepts with us. We sat down here in our home studio here in San Antonio, and we just started, blowing out riffs like crazy. I mean, it was like, we had years of, riffs and concepts and everything that we had been sitting on, and we laid them all down here in our studio. We took them out to L.A., whichever ones the producers were vibing on, we started rolling on it, and we came out with a super stellar, in our opinion, we're super proud of it, with our first Taking EP. And, we wanted to go for something that was driving, that was hard, that, had a little bit of darkness to it, but still had that real accessible sound, that sound that gets you moving, that sound that gets your heart pumping, So, but it was a completely organic, it was almost like a therapeutic experience in a lot of ways, because it pushed us to our limits, and we went over there, and we had no idea what direction it was going to go. I mean, we had never, we had worked in some really awesome studios before, but we had never worked in a studio setting like, just like everyone says, everything in LA is super fast-paced. Well, it's almost like even the studio life and the studio sessions in LA are super fast-paced. And it was, we had done some recording in Nashville, and we recorded in Austin and stuff like that, and it was a real laid-back vibe. But man, being, we were right smack dab in Hollywood, and you could feel the energy, and we were just like, we almost had the jitters. Just, it was so exciting. It was so exciting being there. You could feel the energy in the air, and it was great. It was a great experience, and we're super, super happy with what we came out with.
Well, I have to tell you, I think you guys poured a lot of that energy into the record itself, because, man, it is full of energy, and it just gets you pumped up, and it does more than make your heart beat. I can tell you that. It is just hard driving rock and roll, and it's the way rock should be. That's the thing I like about your music, is that, it kind of takes me back to that time in the 80s when all these hair bands were out, and they were putting out some of the best rock and roll you'd ever heard. And then, it just kind of gave way to the whole alternative rock scene.
Right.
You guys have got such an edge about your music that has kind of combined the best of 80s rock with the here and now rock sound that you get from 9 Inch Nails and Linkin Park and Breaking Benjamin. But there's a familiarity about it that people like myself who dig it, because it's got the modern feel, it's got a modern retro rock feel to it. And I think that's what's going to take you guys so far, because you've gone out, kind of branched out and took a risk here that is going to resonate with a lot of rock and roll fans everywhere. And wow, I mean, talk about getting the album done, and that's record time. Who does that,
It was pretty, we were cutting it close. I mean, we would, be like, okay, well, we still have, 20 things to do, and we have, 2 hours to do it. It's like, oh my God, so it was, it definitely lit that fire. And, but, we didn't chintz on anything. We didn't, sell anything short. We didn't leave out anything that we wanted to add or wanted to tweak a little bit or wanted to, put a little something extra on. And we all came to a collective agreement, and it was like, okay, the song's done. And we move on, and we do, start another song the next day. And it was like, okay, let's hit the reset button again and let's roll. And it was fantastic. It was, even the way that we've approached songwriting since we recorded that music. We have the same. It's completely changed our mindset on how to approach songwriting and how to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish in a song. Because there's a lot of times when you can get lost in a song and you're analyzing it so much and you're overthinking and a lot of times it's that first you have to follow your instinct. It's that first instinct. You're like, you know what? That's natural. Let's be ourselves. Let's be true to ourselves. Let's not try to stretch it too thin. It's like, if this is kicking butt, then we're on the right track. So it was a really awesome time.
Well, and and the gut instinct never lies. It never misleads.
Right.
If the gut tells you this is it, then that's what you got to go with every time, because I don't think that'll ever lead you astray. But
right.
Well, I tell you what, kudos on a phenomenal job. The EP is just off the chain good. I can't say that enough. It's one of the best, and undoubtedly, I know we're in January of 2014, but you guys are my band for this year. I try to pick a favorite every year, and I try not to have favorites because all my indies that I interview are like my family, it's kind of like my children. But you guys have got it. You guys, it's like I'm still sitting here going, really? I'm talking to this guy? Because he should be like doing an interview with iHeartRadio or something right now. Seriously, you're that good. And I mean that with all sincerity. I'm honored because I'm thinking when you are doing those interviews one of these days, I can say, ooh, I knew them when.
Absolutely.
That's the coolness of it. Now, what kind of great things have you guys got going on? I know that things are cranking up for you all. 2014 is a brand new year. There's got to be lots that's going to go down for you all. The EP's out now. What kind of things are you doing?
We're actually doing some really big things right now. We just released an acoustic version of This Sin, which is one of the songs on the EP. We did a completely stripped down version, 2 acoustic guitars, 1 shaker, and the vocals. And actually, we just put that out maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, not that long ago at all. So we just released that. And we're actually giving that download away for free right now. And I would say probably in the next week, it'll be live on iTunes and Rhapsody and Spotify and all that other kind of good stuff. So we released that one. Then we also have 3 tracks that we self-produced, that we did all of our own recording here at our studio here in Texas. We did all of our own recording. We produced it ourselves, everything like that. We're going to be releasing those 3 tracks as well. And then also at the end of December, of this last December, we were actually back in LA, and we did some work with Mike Gonsolin and his other producer, his co-producer, co-writer. His name is Nick Natoli. We did some writing and recording with those guys. We were back at Trend F Studios, and man, we have 2 songs that we worked on with those guys, and they're just, complete awesomeness. And we're going to be releasing those hopefully sooner than later. We want to try to judge to see, how things are going when we release the songs. We're still, kind of negotiating about, the time span that we're going to be releasing them in. But, I guess the bottom line is we're going to be releasing a lot of new music here very soon. And we're going to be still actively shopping labels, management, booking agencies. We have a few leads with some industry contacts and stuff like that. So we're going to be pursuing those, following up on those, and at the same time, performing as often as we can. Like I said, we have those 2 big shows in February and March here in San Antonio, and then we're going to be doing some regional stuff in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, out in Austin, and hopefully we'll be able to. We're in talks with some bands about trying to do some touring up and down the East Coast, and then hopefully we'll be touring as much as we can. We're just trying to get up everything to line up, trying to line up the logistics and the funding and everything like that. And as soon as everything's ready to go, we're going to be hopefully all over the place. So we have real big things coming this year.
Well, you said East Coast, and I'm in North Carolina. So if you get to the East Coast in the vicinity of North Carolina, I'm going to have to come see you guys play live because it's going to be off the chain good. I can't even imagine what your live show would be like, but I imagine it is just the bomb.
Well, it's awesome, and I guarantee you, if we're up in that area, we'll let you know. And I'll send a limo for you, and then
that would be awesome. You don't have to, but I would definitely come out. I mean, there's some pretty cool places in North Carolina to play, so if you're thinking about a touring in North Carolina at some point, just let me know, and I'll shoot you an email with some good venues to try to get into. But yeah, I've seen like on YouTube your live performance videos that you've got up. Man, they're so good and so energetic and. So I know a live show by you guys would just be rocking. And by the way, speaking of videos, are you going to be making any videos for any of the any video videos? Not necessarily live performance videos, but do you have any of those in the works for any of the songs on the current EP or future songs that you're going to be releasing?
As of right now, we don't have any videos in the works for the EP that we have out right now. But we do have, we've already started storyboarding and everything like that for at least one, if not both, of those new tracks that we're going to release that we did with Mike Gonsolin and Nick Natoli, and those will be out real soon. We're going to release the songs first, and then probably within the first couple of weeks that the songs are out, we'll be dropping music videos for those. So yeah, we're going to have full music videos, and we're just going to be blasting them to anybody and everybody, and getting the name out, and getting the video out, getting the music out, and just doing what we got to do.
Well, anything that you guys put out will be phenomenal, and any future music, if the EP is any indication of what you guys are about, oh man, the new music, I can't wait to hear it, get my hands on it, play it for you guys here on the show, because I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be good stuff. So, well, I can't wait to see what's going to happen for you all this year. Granted, you've got a lot planned, a lot going on, and I just want to thank you so much for being on the show this evening, but more importantly, wish you all the best for much continued success in 2014 and beyond, because you're on the way, man. It is only a matter of time.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, and we'd love to have you back anytime, you and the guys. And by the way, before I close, I just want to give a shout-out to Dominic and his wife. I did see on social media, I think it was one day last week, where they had a baby, and congratulations to them, and hope they're doing well.
Yes, he did, and he's the cutest little guy ever. His name is Tristan, and he's a beautiful little boy. So yeah, him and his girl, they're super excited. They're in love with their little boy, and he's a doll. So yeah.
Well, congratulations to them, and you've got a future taking member on your hands. I hope you know. So
I think so. Yeah.
I'm sure he'll have a guitar in his hand before a pair of drumsticks or whatever before it's over with. So we'll just have to be on the watch for that, no doubt.
Exactly.
Well, Alan, this has been a real treat and pleasure speaking with you and just talking about your music. And we are going to close our show this evening with a couple of tunes from your latest EP. And as I said, love to have you guys back anytime if you want to talk about anything new you've got going on, especially as the new tunes come out. Let's set up a date to have you back on so we can play and promote them and talk about, all the great things that I know are going to be happening between now and then. So,
absolutely. That sounds great, and we appreciate your support and appreciate you having us on. We'll be in touch very, very, very soon.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Take care. God bless, and we'll be talking with you real soon.
All right. Thank you, Don. Thank you all so much, guys. Rock on.
All right. You too. Bye. We have been speaking with Alan Paul from The Taking. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, if you do not know who this band is, well, you're going to in just a few, because I'm going to play several cuts off of the latest EP. They are one of my personal favorite bands for 2014. I am so glad that I came across them on social media because, oh my gosh, they are just so good, and it's only a matter of time. But if you want to visit them on social media, you can go to their website, thetaking.net, and on there they've got videos, their music, they've got photos, news, upcoming tour dates, you name it, it's on there. You can also follow them on Twitter and on Facebook. On Twitter, they're The Taking Band, and on Facebook, they're also The Taking Band. So go to Facebook, like their page. On Twitter, follow them. That's the best way to keep up with everything that they're doing, because I'm telling you, if you love rock music and you love bands like Three Doors Down, 3 Days Grace, Evanescence, Seether, any of those bands, if you are a fan of any of those, you're going to be a fan of The Taking, I can assure you. So before we close tonight, I want to play a couple songs from their latest EP. We're going to start with The Bitter End. Next will be Until the Other Side, and then we will close with their latest release that he said they've released an acoustic version of, The Sin. And by the way, if you like any of their songs, you can go to their website, and it'll tell where you can go and purchase their music. And I will add this as a footnote. If you like their music, please buy it. If they're offering a free download, grab it, because it may not be free for very long. But if you like the album, go buy the album. Support these guys because they are self-funded. Everything they do comes out of their own pocket. They don't have a major record label backing them. So any support that they can get from listeners and fans is what enables them to keep making great music. So definitely show them your love and support, because they certainly can use it. And so with that, we're going to close the show with music from The Taking's latest EP. And just want to say a huge thank you to Alan for being our special guest from The Taking, and many thanks to all of you for being with us as well. And with that, have a great night all. God bless, and good night.
Black them out till I see red. It's an endless fight. I'm gonna fight until I'm dead. Rob me again. Take your time till you begin to understand. There's only so far you can hold me down till I take my life and turn it around. Say goodbye. This is the bitter end. This is the bitter end. This is the bitter end. This is the last thing I remember before I crashed into your soul. I heard somebody yell murder, and the bodies began to roll. My head hit the pavement, and glass flew in the air. Explosion and the earth quaked, with the blood drenched in my hair. If it's our time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. I'm looking down from where I once was, with a vivid memory of what we had and once were, and what we could have been. Give it to me, I want it all back. My history's not just a memory. If it's our time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. If it's our time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. Time to die, we all must ride sometime until the other side. I'm taking it all away. It's breaking me up and tearing me down. I don't know what to say. The weight of the world, it spins me round, around for another day. And I won't be around to say this pain keeping me so alive now. All the feelings belong and I don't know how. I can't decide to stay or should I go? This pain drowning my thoughts are darker now, and I just can't leave 'cause I don't know how. I wanna stay but I have to go away. The colors always fade. It's never black and white, it just turns to gray. I can't find my way. The weight of your voice, it pulls me down, down for another day.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.